Coach, you have one exhibition under your belt, another one coming up. How do you use those to get prepared for the regular season?
Yeah, I think obviously we're looking at different combinations of different players, and we're really focused on ourselves. We don't have a lot of information on the teams we're playing, so it's more about imposing our style in the game, figuring out what combinations work and who's going to be in a position to contribute for our group as the season gets to the non-conference and then obviously the conference portion of our season.
And then the healthy sophomore class looking to take another step forward. Kendall, Paige, Kate as well. Just all those three made pretty solid impacts last year and look to do so again. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, I mean, I think from our younger players and our veterans, just a really cohesive group of young women that are working really hard to put themselves in a position to contribute. I think Taylor Heimerl also got a lot of minutes from that class. And again, I think everyone's kind of stepped it up a notch from their preparation perspective and coming in fit and ready. And then just from being in our environment for more than a year, I think some of them were ready to contribute last year, but they're at an even better spot this year, which we're really looking forward to.
You mentioned the veterans and like some of you spoke to, like as a coach, what is that having players that have been here, 4 or 5 years or knowing that they're, here and a part of the team?
Yeah, I think the veterans are so important. I mean, they're so experienced and they've been in almost every scenario in a game in terms of up a goal, down a goal, tied to a top team, losing a game that maybe you should win. And so I think we're really relying on them from a leadership perspective and just being able to set the tone in terms of what it takes from the beginning to the end of the game in that 90 minutes to get a job done. The margins are really small in women's college soccer, and so I think we're really relying on them to be able to, again, set the tone and then just be leaders from the get-go for our group. You mean from these guys, like who they like the best?
For you.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Well, USA. I don't know if I'd say, I love Germa, who's a center back for us. I think everyone has been talking about what an impact she's made, and we talk with our group all the time about just how smooth and composed she is, and she doesn't make anything look really hard, and it's been fun to watch her. And then it's obviously fun to watch our front three and kind of the pressure they're able to put opponents under and how dangerous they are. So I think that's been fun. But probably Germa if I had to pick a player.
Obviously, exhibitions, it's not something where you're really focused on the scoreline, but still a really nice exhibition, 5-0 win against Iowa State. Compared to last year, it's such a funny contrast where, the game maybe didn't go super well last year, maybe the offense wasn't clicking quite well, and this year the attack looks so good, get on the board. If anything, you could have scored even more goals. How do you see the team looking, that comparison of last year maybe struggling to finish, and then this year really looking explosive and getting the ball in the net?
Yeah, I think, we looked a lot at just chance creation from the game, and even if we wouldn't have scored but created a lot of chances, I think that's a real positive for any group early in the season. I think we've focused mostly on defending and possession in terms of our preseason so far, so to see some of the combinations of different players and different players scoring and then different players assisting, I think is a real positive for our group, and we believe in that attacking group, and we believe in all the different personalities and how they can help our team. So I think from that perspective, a real positive, but obviously exhibitions don't count. So we're going to use it as learning, and we've already, done one film session from the game, and it's really just a starting point for our group. So our hope is that we can continue to refine some areas that still needed to be a lot more crisp and better and clinical. And then we'll be a better product Saturday, and then every time we set foot on the field.
With the addition of 4 new teams to the conference, is there anything specific when you think about the style of Big Ten soccer versus Pac-12 soccer, or like how those might mesh? Or I guess as a coach, like how does that kind of shape your approach?
I mean, I honestly haven't even really thought about it. I think our first focus is our game on Saturday. I think we're excited about the new teams in the Big Ten. I think it's going to make for the most competitive soccer conference in the country, and we'll start breaking down. Obviously, we only play USC and UCLA, and we don't play Oregon and Washington, so we'll break those teams down as we get closer to those games. But I think first and foremost, it's exciting to have them in the conference, and obviously bringing in some real top 10 powerhouses, which is a fun challenge for the rest of the Big Ten and for our group. So we'll be super motivated to put together a good product for those games.
You have a few spots where key starters graduated or moved on, where you have to sort of have a replacement in a big role, you know, in the net, on the back line, etc. How much pressure do you feel to kind of maybe lock those in by the start of the regular season versus let some of that settle even through that non-conference schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I think the quicker we can lock that in, the better for our group in terms of being able to develop a solid chemistry as early as possible so that players are learning how other players play, and that helps us grow into the season. So ideally as soon as possible, but certainly some wonderful competition in a lot of those spots, and I think that's good for any team to have that competition and have different players who can step up in different ways, and we're really going to be relying on that depth as we go through the season. We were able to play everybody in our game against Iowa State, which we were just felt really great about the different contributions and the different types of goals we scored, and different players who can provide some depth for us. So I think it's a really exciting point for us.
Awesome. That's all we have time for. Sophia Boman.
All right, Sophia, coming in as a captain, how's the team been looking in exhibition so far?
I think really good. We've just had one exhibition at Iowa State. We got a good result and everyone got to get in. So overall really good and really good energy of this group.
Seeing Allie play now, like as a teammate now with her sister, just what's it been like seeing that partnership?
I think it's just really fun to have sisters. In the past, we've also had sisters like the Browns and the Harpers. So I think that's just really fun to be able to see the sisters, and it's kind of funny to see them like interact off the field too, because you forget sometimes like, oh my gosh, they're related. But yeah, that's really cool.
As someone who's like been around the team for a while, with kind of a new Big Ten conference this year, like how have you seen kind of your guys' schedule and difficulty of play evolve over your years at the school?
Yeah, I think like this year it's changed the most just because they've added like UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington. But I think we're all like super excited. Like we get to go out to UCLA and USC and play there in California. And they're really top tier teams, but I think that's something that we're all like super excited to do, and like we're all glad that they're added.
Do you think it changes like any of the way that you guys are sort of approaching the season at all, or kind of similar, saying like to what you've done in past years?
I think like a similar overall approach, but like we know that there's like a lot of competition, and now that the Big Ten is even bigger, that just like ups the competition every more. So just being even more intentional with everything we do.
You all looked really good against Iowa State just a few days ago, especially putting up plenty of goals and really a lot more that even could have gone in. Your whole career with the Gophers, it's been a little bit of a challenge getting scoring and converting those chances. Is there anything that feels different to you all in camp this year in terms of having that finishing locked in and really converting those opportunities?
Yeah, I think we're just really staying locked in and focused in practice, making sure every rep counts and just trying to put away our chances that we can.
Kind of in that midfield role, able to create most of those chances while you have 5 assists, led the team last year. Just what do you do as that midfielder to create those chances for your attackers?
I think a lot comes from like other people in the attack, like runs off the ball. When we have strong runs, it makes it easy to play the ball through because you know where they want it. So I think it's just kind of like a whole team effort, everyone joining together, and then the assists just come from the people scoring the goals.
How do you feel like you played right this summer with racing Louisville?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like that kind of prepared you for this fall?
That was really fun. I really liked that experience, and I got to like jump in sometimes with the pro team, which was just fun to be able to play at a really high speed of play. And I think it was just nice to try something different this year, and I feel like I came in well prepared.
With the Olympics going on, do you have any former Olympians or current Olympians that you've looked up to?
I think a lot of us on the team look up to like a lot of the U.S. women's national team, Olympic team, and especially this year since They had a rough couple past years, you know, getting all the results they want. But I think they've looked really good, and a lot of us look up to a lot of them. So it's hard to pick just one.
A lot of the players on this team you've played with, you know, for years, so many different Gopher seasons. But in terms of the newcomers, is there anyone who's really shown in camp or you've been impressed with, or anyone who's just upped their game that we haven't been able to see, but you've seen them sort of every day in training?
Honestly, it's hard to pick out one because I think they're all looking really good, and they all have a great attitude both on the field and off the field. They're all ready to train every day, so I think all the newcomers look really good.
Any more questions for Sophia? Awesome. Thanks, Sophia. Next up, we're going to have Jelena Zbiljic.
Yeah, you're coming in now multiple seasons with the Gopher soccer program, such a veteran for this team. How do you think your role is fitting in with the team this year?
I think good. It's always fun to come back. I mean, I'm coming back for my 5th year, and I'm just trying to make the most of it this year with the other girls coming back and all the newcomers coming in. And we've just got a really good group, and we're all meshing very well together on and off the field, which has been super helpful during this preseason before school starts and before our season rolls off soon.
When you think about like coming back as a veteran, like how have you seen the team change over the years in your time here?
I've just seen it grow a lot, especially being from Minnesota, following the Gophers when I was a little girl, and now being a part of the team. It's so special, and watching the team just grow and watching us bond off the field really translates onto the field very nicely. And every year it just keeps getting better, and we have the same culture and standard, and it just keeps improving. So it's awesome.
What have you seen from Katie in her time here at Minnesota?
Katie is awesome. I mean, she is a phenomenal player, and it was really special to play alongside her and see her at the Gophers, and now going into the professional level. She was just a phenomenal player and person off the field, which is really, really special.
And do you have a favorite Olympian of all time?
Right now, I would say Crystal Dunn. She's a vet on the team and kind of helping in the back line with the U.S., and she kind of played a little up top before the Olympics, and so just watching her be very versatile with the team and being a vet coming in and helping has been one of my favorite players.
And then to add to that, do you have a favorite moment in U.S. soccer history?
Oh, in history, probably Erin Chastain's goal, and I mean the iconic picture of her taking her shirt off, and that was just probably the most iconic moment, yeah.
Yell, you've been through the transfer process and had to go through sort of being in the portal, finding a new home. Obviously, you came back to your hometown team. But for a player like Evie or other transfers who come in, Katie Crone, when they come in, do you ever try and like give a little bit of advice, or is there a little bit of transfer camaraderie of folks who have been through that kind of difficult decision-making process?
I mean, it's coming into this team, it's very easy to adapt to the team, and everyone's very welcoming, so that has been super special. For me coming in, it was very smooth transition, and same with these other transfers, especially being a transfer myself. It's been very nice to help them come into the team, but everyone on the team has been so welcoming, even to the freshmen, to the transfers, and we're all kind of as one.
What'd you gain from your time at the Aurora, and how you kind of grew as a player there as well?
I've gained a lot of experience both here at the Gophers and Aurora, being on different stages and kind of meshing the two together. It's been very special being like a homegrown player for the Gophers and for Aurora, and just playing in front of the different stadiums, all the fans, having Aurora fans come to Gopher games and Gopher fans come to Aurora games. It's been nice to mesh the two together.
Any more questions for Jelena? Awesome. Okay. Next up, we'll have Elizabeth Overberg.
You're really charged with helping lead that back line as a captain center back. Maybe people have a hard time remembering now you came in actually as a holding midfielder, and just now you've had your whole career in the, you know, centrally in that back line. What's it been like for you trying to lead that group with a couple new folks contributing back there?
It's been really great. Honestly, I have a lot of experience throughout my 4 years. I've played next to a different center back each year, so it's kind of fun to just use what I've gained from each of those people that I've played next to and kind of just give it to all the freshmen or the newcomers or people who have never played in the back line before, because I've been there, and so it's nice and easy to relate to them.
And particularly the last 2 years, you've had really experienced grad transfers playing next to you to be able to sort of lean on. Now you really are sort of the veteran in the center.
Yeah.
Have you felt that shift in terms of now your responsibility maybe growing or shifting compared to the last 2 years?
I can definitely feel that shift. I mean, I'm still playing the same with the same confidence. I still talk in the same amount. It's just I just might have someone different next to me. And I think it's just being able to continue that trust that I had with those grad transfers and have that trust in myself that I have a lot of experience and the people next to me trust me and I trust them, and just kind of leaning on each other in that way.
You kind of alluded to it, but being named captain, kind of what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. We have a lot of great leaders on our team already, so it feels special to be named one of the captains. But honestly, it is just a label. We have a lot of leaders that stand out in different ways, maybe off the field or in the weight room. So it is special, but we do have a lot of other leaders as well.
How did you get that news? Like, how did they tell you guys that?
They told me in one of my off-season meetings. Boman was already a captain, and I knew that she would be returning as a captain. And so she honestly knew before I did. And so she's like, "How'd your meeting go?" And so it was special because the coaches just tell you that they see you as a leader, and it's a special moment.
In honor of being named captain, do you have a favorite Team USA captain of all time?
Team USA captain. I love Becky Sauerbrunn. I mean, center back. Gotta give her some love. Naomi Girma right now, she isn't the captain, but gotta give her some love because she's the best defender in the world right now, I think.
You guys had your exhibition down in Ames, which is
Yes.
pretty close to your hometown, Ankeny. It felt like the entire stands were in Elizabeth Overberg cheering section. I think your little nephew was just like screaming for you the entire game. He was waving the flag.
He was.
What does it mean to be able to play in front of some hometown fans that maybe don't get up here as much, or maybe haven't seen you play even since high school?
It's super special. I mean, I have friends, families, old coaches, old performance trainers, and it means a lot because we do have a lot of fans at Minnesota, but a lot of them are local, and I've gained some relationships from being out of state, but it's nice to come home and just see familiar faces in the stands, and you have all those inside jokes, and it just reminds you of back in the day when you were just playing in Iowa.
Kind of going to be a new keeper for the first time also in your career behind you. Just how have you seen that relationship kind of as a center back grow, where knowing whether she's going to come for a ball or not, or what she's communicating to you guys in the back line?
For sure, yeah. We have a lot of great keepers on our roster, and I think it just comes with what we've been doing in the off season and in preseason. We step off the field a lot and say, "This is what I mean when I step here," or just some lingo, so that we're just ready to go in high pressure moments. We know and trust each other that we're going to make the right decision.
And for the first time in program history, you have those LA schools in the Big Ten. You all are making the trip to LA for that LA double this year. How much have you all been sort of trying to learn those new teams, or even just planning for trips you haven't made before in your career?
I mean, of course, we're excited to go to LA. It's going to be a fun trip, but honestly, we're just focused on ourselves. We're still going to play our type of soccer, our style of soccer, and the new teams are going to have to adapt to us. So really just trusting in what we're prepping to do this season.